Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. I'm your host, Justin Allen Hayes. We're so grateful for all your support, watching, listening. You can smash that subscribe button, follow, like, share, comment. That will help us greatly in reaching and helping 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond. We have a jam-packed episode here, so we are going to hop right in. Many of you, because we have such a great following, uh, tuned in to, and you still can tune in to episode 336 of ours, which again, you can watch, you can listen. You can do that here in the United States or across the world. So wherever you're at, Voices for Voices is at as well. But in episode 336, we dropped a little bit of information that the mainstream media wasn't, and still, I believe, hasn't been addressing appropriately. And that is the what looks to be, in our estimation, in good faith, a persecution, a genocide against Christian people in Nigeria. So that is episode 336, where we jump into that. This episode here, that you're watching and listening to, we are going to talk a little bit about that, but we are going we're going to dedicate this particular episode to our guest, David Solomon, his late mom, Severa Solomon. And so we're going to talk a little bit about Nigeria, and I think David has some additional information on just the world we're living in now that he may want to share with us. So we will let David take the floor and just buckle your seatbelts, everybody.
So, yeah, this episode is going to be mostly about my mom in Nigeria, um, because I've had a lot of hate on my mom today, especially, and I kind of wanted to set the bar straight and talk about Nigeria and why it hits home for me. So we're gonna go back in time to uh, to 1971, and then we're gonna move you forward to 2020 in a 30-minute period. So, like he said, buckle up. Um, my mom was born Brenda Shireen Hall, um, and she was a woman of faith from a very young age. She was raised by her grandparents, great grandparents, the Blickenstaffs, not her mother and father, who were alcoholics and also smokers and not nice people. At the age of 18, she ran away um, and went missing for maybe about 4 months. And after those 4 months, um, she joined the Olympics. And she was going to be on the Olympic United States swimming team in the 70s, the Summer Olympics. Her mom uh, hurt her. I don't know all of the details because it wasn't a thing that she liked to talk about. She didn't like to go near a swimming pool because of it, but uh, her mom broke her leg, so she couldn't go to the Olympics. So that was the end of my mom's Olympic career. From there, she married a man named Barry, And Barry and her, uh, he was a pastor, and they went to found Trinity Broadcasting Network in 1975 with Paul and Jan Crouch in Santa Ana or Costa Mesa, California, and Phoenix, Arizona. Um, and she was the one that helped everybody with the communications and getting everything on air and managing some finances. She did all that behind the scenes stuff. Um, she was an anchor after that for two news stations. And then she became a school teacher in Josephine County. From there, she enlisted herself in the military in Klamath Falls, Oregon. After that, she wanted to run for governor of Oregon and was going to successfully do that. Um, During that moment, when she was going to run for governor, she was helping run a church, a massive church. And she met my dad, who was a pastor at the time. And my dad um, said, you know, I wanna marry you. And they fell in love and they married and they had me. After they had me, he found that he needed to be called to the war and he became a special forces sniper and he went overseas and came back and my mom tried to get him counseling. He pulled a gun on her, um, and finally he lit our house on fire and exploded the thing, and and it changed our lives forever. Me and my mom. Um, legally we died according to the doctor reports, and came back, and we had carbon dioxide poisoning. We went to Klamath Falls where we received treatment and were flown to Troutdale, Virginia for hyperbaric oxygen by Dr. Castro. And and we we were well after that. My mom went to live in Medford, Oregon. We'll back up. My mom came back to Klamath. I started writing at the age of 6, my first novel in Troutdale, which I will release with Voices for Voices. Actually, this coming month, you guys will get to see the first novel I wrote as a 6-year-old. That is going to be something. Um, that's when God called me to write. Um, it was really hard to go through that. Um, my grandparents uh, forgave my dad and they allowed my dad to contact me after he did what he did in killing us, and they allowed visitation behind my mom's back. And so my mom said no, no more, and she refused for me to ever see my grandparents again. It's a good reason. Um, my mom became a founder of another church in Medford, and she started to help fund this idea for children that had autistic needs for horseback riding. And then she became a special needs coach on top of that. And Then she wanted to get into politics as she was running this ranch. She wanted to get into politics of being the mayor of Medford, Oregon. So I would go with her to meet campaigns and to meet different people in the political party. I met Barack Obama and different people that came through that were running in the Democratic Party. At that time, he wasn't president, he was just a candidate running through the Rogue Valley. So it was a lot different meeting Barack Obama and his family uh, at that moment. Um, and even though he was a Democrat, my mom was for all sides. She believed that all sides needed to be heard, not just one. I love that about her. So uh, my mom helped me find my voice at the age of 13. Um, One of my youth pastors, Jeremy Haskell, uh, offered me a beer bottle, and I said no. And he broke it on my back, and I ran to my mom, and she went to him, and he threw her on the floor. And then she got him fired from Ashland Christian Fellowship for it, and rightfully so. After that, um, we tried another church, and my mom became the choir director and also worship leader and cook, and also the behind the scenes person for getting everything on screen and the bulletins and everything else. And then she started her own flower arrangements and started making a lot of money that way. Um, I was still writing. I was about 14 when she knew that I was destined for uh, something big. Um, Brian Davis, who trafficked me, took interest in me at around 11, I believe. Um, and she saw that, and I started writing Christian fantasy novels for him and other people because I could write at an extreme speed, and she would edit them. Um, at 14, I rebelled against my mom. There was this girl I liked, and she was a part of this gang in Phoenix, Oregon. And I joined the gang for about 7 days. And then they cut the tires of a cop car, and I turned myself in. That's how long that lasted. Um, at that point, my mom wanted to find why I was so angry. And it turns out that I needed to be more creative. And I was frustrated because people would judge me because I was super smart. I already graduated high school, and, I was doing college level stuff, and nobody really wanted to be around you because of that. Um, so I became a full time writer for some famous TV shows that you know. And I got paid for it. And I ghostwrote them because I could speed write, still speed write. And my mom started to have fun with it, and she created several TV shows, several movies, several comics, several books. And we became the Mean Team Lean Machine, as we were called in the industry. About 2010, um, things were going good. And my mom started to get a little sick. And I went to a church that didn't believe in sickness. So we had butted, and they brainwashed me into this cult. And my mom brought me back from it, stuck by me. We moved to Oregon City and had a lovely life, started producing again. Um, Thanksgiving, I found out that she had 3 months to live. And the church we were going to was not uh, supportive of that. So I reached out for prayer to Brian Davis, out of all people, who I hated. But when no one else is around and your mom's your only friend, you reach out. And that is why I was taken, because I asked for prayer. You know the rest of the story. You know I went to Canada. You know I was trafficked. If you don't, you can listen to it. Um, when I made it back, my mom had filed about 12 missing persons reports in Clackamas County. And my name was legally changed by my trafficker, SOS, Solomon O. David Soldier. But I go by David Solomon because that's in the writing world, that's what I am. And my mom was healed of that breast cancer. She never had to do chemo. Doctors couldn't explain it. I lost all my friends because I became the horror child. And my mom stood by me the whole way. Became paralyzed and blind. I had a lot of concussions, a lot of hit and runs. And we left to start a new life. We we got to Virginia, and my mom uh, had a rental car. And she was a day late, and someone made a call, and she went to prison. The police got her out because they felt bad, but it was a grand theft charge. It was horrifying for my mom to go through. So scared. I was scared too. And so my mom would always be by my side, no matter what. When we got through that, we swore that we would fight this injustice. And we wrote the film Sound of Freedom because we helped rescue a kid that a mother sold in the United States to South America. And we brought that kid back. We worked with Operation Railroad and Underground Railroad. And That's why that movie is there. My mom rescued more than 400 children from being trafficked. She would go out of her way to meet with people, talk with them, talk with the parents. She kind of became a private investigator of sorts. And then I became a assistant pastor at a Nigerian church in San Francisco. And it was so hard to see the Nigerian people be crucified because of race. They love God just like you and me, and you have no idea until you see how much they love God. They're more extreme in how they worship because of how much they love God because they don't have that freedom in their country. The reason it hits so hard is I was one of the assistant pastors and my mom was the other. And we did help pastor with a head lead pastor a Nigerian church successfully for a year and a half and led a lot of people to Christ. And then my mom was stabbed in the breast with a syringe and her breast exploded. And she ended up at the emergency room at Stanford Hospital at Stanford University, California, in Palo Alto. And they said that she had lost so much blood she wouldn't survive, but they got her where she would. So she healed from it, and then me and my mom made the best of our life, and we produced and wrote more books and more movies, like Sound of Freedom, ones that I can't talk about, admitting that I wrote with her for legal purposes. Um, and we made a difference. In 2020, um, my mom had the breast explosion caused cancer, so she needed chemo. And we were in California and couldn't get the chemo started because California was locking down medical. So we drove across country to Virginia to get chemo. And when we did that, my my mom went to the doctor, and we were hopeful that we were going to restart the chemo and she would be good to go. We could knock it into remission quickly. Only he told my mom to go die because they weren't going to restart her chemo because it wasn't priority because of COVID. So she had tears in her eyes, and I did too. So the man that cared for me and my mom, a man, uh, he made fun of me for crying about my mom being sick, called me a rag doll. And we left Virginia for treatment in South Carolina, so we could restart it. And we couldn't get it done there, but we could get it done in Alabama. But we'd have to go through Florida because there were so many checkpoints for COVID. So we went to Florida, and my mom got out at the gas station at Panama City. And she emptied her bank account. And then she wrote me a note. And the last words she said was, "I'm sorry, and we're going to be okay. You get them. You finish it. You finish what we started." I rushed to the ER at Bay Medical Center. I tell them my mom just lost unconsciousness. I was followed by another vehicle. They got out. The next thing I know, police are surrounding me, knock me unconscious on the ground, and I'm incarcerated for the death of my mom. 7 days I spent. They proved that I didn't kill my mom, but my trafficker, Brian Davis, apparently, and someone else, called them and said I did. They were going to lock me up for a long time, and I made it out. But I was denied my mom's ashes. Someone else has those today, not me. In that moment, I had lost my best friend who had stuck by me through everything. Through thick and thin. Even when no one wanted to. I had lost a fiance. I had lost my best friend. I had lost my youth pastor. I had lost my pastor. I had lost everyone that I ever called a friend because I was trafficked. And no one wanted to be friends with the whore child. I was on TikTok the other day on a live. And this woman, I won't say names, she was really inspirational talking about these things have to be exposed. Evil things like why my mom wrote Sound of Freedom, like why my mom died. Why people are saying my mom is a bad person. Why are children going missing? Why is Nigeria not being talked about in the mainstream media? Why am I being crucified for telling the truth? Her and her husband, for that matter. Credit to him, too.
A 5 minute
And
warning, just FYI.
what is it?
5 minute warning, just FYI.
So that was my mom. She was always helpful, always caring. And the Nigeria people, she would always be there. She was always in contact with missionaries. She was always rescuing kids out of those areas: Ethiopia, Nigeria, Kenya, um, Australia, New Zealand. She was always rescuing kids. She was an incredible woman of faith. For people that mock her, like Mindy Joy Davis from Illinois, or Brian Allen Davis from Bowling Green, Kentucky, or James Artville from Grants Pass, or Tim Long from Oregon City, or other people who have made blatant statements saying that my mom was a whore or a pathological liar. She would never lie a day in her life. She would always tell the truth, and she would always do anything for me. She showed me the true love of Christ because Christ sacrificed his life just as she sacrificed hers, blood and sweat, so that I could have a life again. Because after I was trafficked, I was broken and I had no hope. I sat in our home and I wouldn't leave the home for like 6 to 8 months. I was horrified. It was so scary. Anyway, that was my mom. And that's how it connects to Nigeria because my mom was so big on the Nigeria people. And watching this happen and no one covering it, it reminds me all of the time when I pastored in San Francisco, what we saw. They're lesser. So I'll continue with part two, but this is part one. And thank you for listening.
Yeah,
Cheers.
thanks for sharing. And it's uh you know, transparency and talking about things that happen that are so personal in nature kind of takes us back to those points of trauma, and so just to be able to talk and share that much detail about what kind of in like the past all the way up to kind of the current state, and that's that's what we're trying to do with Voices for Voices, uh, is to hopefully be a light to talk about tough subjects, things that we're going through, the things that we've been through, to help people. And whether we're helping one person or 100,000, or we hit that 3 billion people mark over the course of my lifetime and beyond, the fact of the matter is, you know, we're we're doing this for others. Yeah, it does help us to share information, but we're doing this so the mom, the dad, the child, the adult, that they're able to see what's going on, hear what's going on from a another source, since mainstream media for whatever reason or reasons, isn't covering it. Um, both the Nigerian uh, persecution, genocide called in the country of Nigeria, as well as, hurtful words and thoughts and uh, all the like, you name it. There's just been just incredible things that I don't know that people would really say if they were face to face. They're keyboard warriors uh, and so a lot of that's what is happening today. But then there's also, from what David was sharing, there's individuals who uh, what seems to be involved in quite a few things that don't seem right in the past, and it sounds like to this day that those are still occurring, that those individuals are still operating in the shadows. So that's what we wanted to share with here with part one. We welcome you back for the following episode. So you'll check out the episode right after this, and that will be part two. And so we want to thank David for joining us, and we want to thank you, pushing 90 countries, 900 cities, governments, intelligence agencies, uh, just incredible things that we we hear about, we see, but we're not able to share. And we'll just leave it at that. But the Lord is our Savior, and uh, like I said at a podium at church when I was, I don't even know, maybe 3, 4, 5 years old. Come Lord Jesus, we need you. Not just David and I, but we all do. So we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.